Tanya couldn't help but admire the view as the smoke dissipated in the distance. In a fraction of a second, she had relocated 100 meters from the epicenter of the explosion. Even at this distance, the heat wave and shrapnel slammed against her protective barrier. The blast was certainly a far cry from the one she had used to finish off that old demon, but it had been enough to catch this Sieg off guard. She couldn't attack him head-on. This opponent was too murky, unpredictable, and strong. It was better to eliminate such threats instantly and with certainty to minimize future complications. Who knew what other surprises he had up his sleeve? She had no desire to find out. She'd had more than enough of that old fossil earlier, not to mention the fact that despite her superior speed, this Sieg had parried her attacks far too easily. Damn monster. She outpaced him in raw speed, but his technique was an entire league above hers. His sugary speeches about their wonderful organization only solidified her decision. Right, he could peddle that nonsense to someone else. It wouldn't work on her. He clearly had the eyes of a fanatic. She'd seen those same eyes in suicide squads on the front lines, the most zealous patriots. No thank you. She had no intention of joining a kamikaze organization, no matter how lofty their ideals claimed to be. Their goals might be interesting, but Tanya had her own methods for dealing with her problems. Relying on fanatics was a liability she couldn't afford. Tanya shifted her gaze to her brother, dangling over her shoulder, and frowned. How much more trouble would this useless creature cause? Not only was his efficiency a negative value, but he also went looking for trouble at every turn. Something had to be done about this hero sickness of his. This wouldn't do. He'd get squashed eventually. People like him were always the first to die. Why? Simple. Because they become mere puppets. Tanya understood, of course, that it was a significant shock for her brother to learn that his little sister was somewhat special. But that didn't change the stupidity of his actions. One must know how to set priorities. A life-and-death struggle was certainly not the time to sort out feelings or give pompous speeches. All right, time to go. Tanya turned, preparing to dash toward the rendezvous point, when, "I'm disappointed," came a voice from behind. A chill ran down her spine. In that voice, she felt a truly icy calm, an unshakable resolve, and most importantly, killing intent. It practically enveloped her whole. Tanya gritted her teeth. Then she slowly turned around. "You know, I truly regret this," the voice continued. "I did everything to resolve this situation peacefully. It's such a waste for a talent like yours to go to waste, but..." Through the thinning haze, a sphere of crystal blue ice appeared. It was nearly 2 meters in radius, its virtually transparent walls reflecting the moonlight, making it look like a small star in the middle of the darkness. However, the peaceful atmosphere was ruined by the cold face of the priest peering through a crack in the wall. The bastard survived, and what's more, he doesn't have a scratch on him, Tanya thought. This bastard must have expected a trick to defend himself that well. This opponent is definitely not simple. Well, you made your choice. The walls of the sphere began to crack. It seems I'll have to show you your place. Hints of rage were becoming more apparent in his words. Finally, the sphere shattered. Without another word, he tilted his head, and the lizard-like arms appeared behind him once more, gripping 4 deadly swords. Hell no! There's no way I'm fighting him alone, Tanya thought. I didn't sign up for a suicide mission. But her monologue was abruptly interrupted by a flash of green light. A turquoise blade of light reflected in her pupils, appearing as if out of thin air. Tanya saw it, but she didn't have time to react. New Tanya? An indistinct mumbling came from her shoulder. Out of nowhere, a strange red flash manifested from her brother. It seemed to soak into her body. Tanya felt a small sun ignite in her chest. She felt a new power within her, as if someone had pumped energy directly into her. Instantly, a thought flashed in her mind. Blow it all to hell! The burning sun inside instantly compressed and was released. Boom! Scorched earth for a radius of 100 meters. Steam rose in thin wisps into the air. The temperature had risen by several dozen degrees. A message popped up in her vision. System message. Warning, an energy discharge exceeding your current capacity has overloaded your channels. Status, channel overload level 4, exhaustion level 2. Wonderful. Now what am I supposed to do? As the priest approached again, Tanya grabbed her useless brother and thrust him out in front of her like a shield. The blade froze an inch from his face. I knew it. It worked, Tanya smiled. A little girl smiled an innocent smile, waving her brother like a matador baiting a bull with a red cape. The priest's face contorted into a grimace of pure indignation. You, have some shame, he roared. Using your own brother as a human shield? Even we don't sink that low. Shame, cuckoo, are such words appropriate in the face of an enemy? Tanya replied. The elements began to ramp up again, and the temperature dropped even further. No matter, the priest said, his voice cold. I no longer want to kill you. I'm taking you with me. Tanya felt something strange. She couldn't move. Her hand with the sword was frozen at her brother's neck. Her feet felt as if they were frozen to the ground. Her vision blurred, but through the hazy veil, she saw the white-clad figure reaching his hand toward her. Do it. The only thing she managed to do at the very end was give a mental command, and with her blurring consciousness, she noticed a massive shadow rapidly descending from above. And in the next instant, boom! A heavily battered but still armored BMP infantry fighting vehicle crashed directly onto the figure in white.